Bezat Hashem, B'shat Tova Moslachat, with Hashem's help, we have Baruch Hashem the Chaverim joining us for the limud of Sefer Hashem. Joining with me, thank you for joining with me, learning, and with Hashem, few Chaverim are away, some are coming right now in a minute here. But Bezat Hashem, why waste time? Why waste time? So Baruch Hashem here, no, okay. All right, so we were discussing from Sefer Hashem. Today is, by the way, the 14th of the month of Shvat, which is Wednesday, the 4th day of the week of Parashat Shabbat, Parashat Itro. Bezat Hashem, we're discussing the elements. What was the final, I guess, a brick that finally made Itro come to the Jewish to accept on himself to become a Jew, full-fledged Jew. So there was a discussion, as we said previously, three different ideas, whether it was the Kriyat Yamsuf, whether it was the war of Amalek, or whether it was the fact that the Jewish nation received the Har Sinai, were about to receive or received, depends on how you learn the Torah. Did Itro come after Matan Torah? He came before Matan Torah. Whatever however, whenever he came, but the question is, what the third opinion held that he came to the Jewish fold is because we received this element of basically being in charge of this, the elements of this earth that Hashem created, and he wanted somebody to be his representatives in this world that enforce his laws and enforce basically control the nature. And that's what Baruch Hashem, Jewish people, we are learning Torah. That could be only accomplished because of learning Torah and obviously complying with it and following it. Torah is not mathematics, it's not math that you should just, math and you follow math and you just say, oh, okay, 100 times 100 is 10,000. Okay, that's not what the Torah is. It's not just, a figure of a matter of knowledge and knowing what to say, when to say it. The most important part is the Rahmana Liba Baya. Hashem wants a heart, and that's why when a ger comes, maybe it could be many different reasons why a ger comes, whether it's a good girl or a good boy that they met, and they want to now get acquainted, and the Jewish people are prohibited marrying anybody outside, so they want to become Jewish. Whether it's the Chokhmah, that by the way in South Korea, in 1949, they did an analogy, and today, by the way, art school Gemorot are translated into South Korean language, and it's one of the biggest customers of art scroll Gemara is South Korea, because they want to learn the Torah, they want to know knowledge. What did they say? They said that they did the mechkar in 1940s, late 1940s. They wanted to know what makes Jews prosperous. So somebody told them, by the way, their Talmud, their Gemara, their tractates that they learn, that's what makes them genius. So ad kedei kach, the curriculum of South Korea, it's not like in America today. Let's teach our 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds how to be a man and a woman in the bedroom. That's not the curriculum of South Korea. South Korea curriculum is, if you want to graduate high school with a diploma, you must know the entire Shas, not by heart at least, but at least places of more important knowledge and information. That's how much in South Korea they're dedicated to learning our Gemara. And the Gemara knowledge doesn't mean much, because in Eretz Israel, you cannot become a lawyer, as this is what I was told by the Bar Association and the lawyers in Israel, and lawyers here that know the law, that try to become lawyers in Israel. You cannot become a lawyer unless you know three tractates by heart, Baba Makama, Baba Matzia, and Baba Batra. You must know them in and out. So the information, but regardless, with that information I just told you, I don't see much lawyers. There's thousands of lawyers in Israel, in Eretz Israel, in Medinat, that belong to this country, they have bars, they pass the bar, as they call. But I don't see them much religiousness, because in reality, knowing knowledge of Torah doesn't mean anything. The most important element of Torah is to implement everything you learn and follow to the last drop. Not like somebody, unfortunately, unfortunately, I was not so exposed to this kind of people, but it was a horrible thing. There was a Jew visited my house. Misafek, he did Girut. Okay, he did Girut, and finally the Beit Din gave him permission. He came to learn by me many times, but unfortunately, I guess I don't know what he was learning. Maybe he didn't understand who I am, what I'm promoting. I promote not learning. I promote fulfilling everything that we learn. Live the life of a Jew. And after becoming a Jew or going through Gerut, he calls me up, and this is how I know that he didn't even. He went through Safek Gerut. He wanted to, because there was a doubt in his mind. He didn't know his heritage, so he wanted to become again Jewish to make sure the whole thing was a farce. I said he was not allowed to do that, but whatever. The Rabbanim jumped on board for whatever. If there's money involved, I really don't know. In the end, after he went to Safek Gerut, he calls me up. Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. I was not so happy that he went through the whole ordeal, because in the end result that he lost one of his sons who grew up to be religious, and all of a sudden his father made sfekot, made doubts and brought in trouts to the family, and now he says, okay, I don't want to be Jewish, leave me alone. If you guys become Gerim, I'm going to be enjoying my life without being Jew. And one of the elements that I know that he didn't have to go through the whole thing because he was a real Jew in my mind, but he tells me something very strange. What did he tell me? He calls me up and he says, Rabbi, I want you to come to the wedding. I'm making a wedding because after the Girut with his wife, the whole thing, you must make another wedding, because if it's whatever. Okay. So now he's making a wedding. I asked him a simple question. Is it mixed wedding? Rabbi, do we have to be 100%? Why can't we be 90%? Just from that question, I knew that he's a full-fledged Jew. A ger will never ask such a question. A ger wants to be 100%, and that's the element. However, the Itro, we're going to learn in this parasha that Itro became a ger, and he was a full-fledged ger, and he recognized one of the elements that that we point out was that what HaShem did to Paro in Kriyat Yamsuf, because the Mitzrayim said that they're not going to get drowned, and here the miracle was, and that's why they were killing the babies, as we said yesterday. They were drowning babies because they thought if they're going to drown the babies, Hashem is not going to drown them. And in the reality, that Hashem made a big joke out of them. They were a big laughing stock. They said they're not going to get drowned because Hashem promised not to drown the world, and He's not going to drown the people. And Mitzrayim were control of the whole world, by the way. They ruled the whole world at that time because of the actions of Yosef HaTzadik. And what happened was that Hashem made a joke out of them. They thought they're not going to drown. He said, okay, you're right. I'm not going to drown your whole, what's his name? I'm not going to drown the whole country. I'm not going to drown Egypt. Okay. Just a second. I'm merging the call. I merged the call. Everybody's on it? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So what happened? Hashem said, I'm not going to drown the whole country, the whole world, but I'm not even going to drown your country. You're going to come to me. You're going to come to one of my servants, the sea, and the sea will drown you. And that's what happened exactly. And that's what excited Itro, one of the opinions. V'chen, not just that, says the rabbi here in Sefer HaShem. V'chen kol hamakot hayu midah keneged midah. All the makot, all 10 makot were midah keneged midah. They were all the action for action. U'makah rishona b'miuchad. Amar alei Itro, ata yadati ki gadol Hashem mikol ha'elokim. The first makah was that when Itro said, now I know Hashem, that He is the true God. Ki Mitzrayim haytam hamakor shel kol ha'avodah zara shebaolam. We have to understand that as again, he's saying over here that Egypt was the pinnacle of idol worship of the whole world. But again, we have to understand why. We just told you why. Because if you're the ruler of the whole world, obviously you're going to implement your idol worship. והיו רשומים בפנקסו של פרעה כל האלוהות שבעולם, and Paro had a diary, he had a written diary, and it were written all different types of gods that the people were serving, so-called gods. וכמו שאמר למשה, לא ידעתי את השם, he says, I don't know Hashem. Why did he say I don't know Hashem? Because in his diary, he had all idol worships, but the most important one was omitted. What was the most important one? Obviously Hashem. That nobody wanted to bring. So it says, "Megamet Israel lo shalech." It says because you have a god, the Egyptians. There's a, just on a side note, it's just a horrible thing. If you think about it, that today there is a big sect in the Jewish community that believes that you have to appease the goyim and they will leave you alone. Wash down the Torah a little bit. You don't have to be so strict. You don't have to follow Rabbi. We don't have to offend the goyim. Let's make them happy. Who was the pinnacle that made goyim the happiest of the world? Who could be more than Yosef? Who gave rulership, control of the entire world to the Egyptians by saving Egypt from a true annihilation. The dreams that Pharaoh had were true annihilation, and they were supposed to be annihilated. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu allowed Yosef HaTzadik to save them and to give them so much koach, so much power, so much control, so much everything. And what? In the end, what happened? In the end, that they were so kfui tovah. They were so So how can you tell me? How can you be a sect in the Jewish community that will say, let's appease the goyim and they will not bother us? It's not true. You see, Yosef HaTzadik gave them everything, and what came off of it? That he wanted to. Even at the time in the life of Yosef HaTzadik. If you take a look over there, when the brothers came and Yosef HaTzadik invited everybody to eat a meal by them, if you remember that story, right? That Yosef HaTzadik invited, and what does it say there? That Yosef HaTzadik was sitting by himself, the brothers were sitting by themselves, and the Egyptians sat by themselves because the Egyptians despised the Jews so much they couldn't eat bread with them. I don't understand you. Yosef HaTzadik made you kings of the world. The world came to buy a 1 pound of wheat. They had to pay with 1 pound of gold. You know how much gold that is? You know how much wheat Yosef amassed? You know how much you have to sustain the whole world? To buy a pound of wheat, you need a pound of gold? And you became the king's world, and yet it's despising attitude to eat with a Jew. So that's just to
I was thinking, where's all that gold?
It's still here. It's here. It's all here.
Yeah.
It's a circle. It's always circle. It's gold, always circle. It's the same amount of gold. It's circular throughout the whole world. Now you're gonna say, so what are they finding? New gold?
No, they're finding
a new gold. Yes, it could be, but
the gold of that time, there was so much.
Right.
It's crazy.
Right.
We're not using so much gold today.
I tell you what again.
Sitting reserves.
There is actually I believe in Mikrot Dolot. I saw some. I don't remember the Paresh. Yosef HaTzadik, whatever gold was there is no extra gold. It doesn't grow. I know the science wants to argue with that, right? And the reason why they are misled is what happens is, according to Torah, in order to use gold of the Zarah, it has to be disintegrated, grinded to powder, and spread around the whole world. And that's what these geniuses are finding. And they're coming up with ideas. No, the gold grew. Yeah. Nothing happening. Nothing could be further from the truth. Yosef amassed all the gold in the world. They had all the gold, and that's the same gold that they use for idol worship. They use for that. So what they're finding, I believe what they're finding in all these mountains, in all these rocks, the gold in the rivers and everything, it's that gold that had to be destroyed and spread around and thrown into the wind. Why? Because it was of the Zara. It was a lot. Most of the gold was used by the Zara, especially in Egypt. When they amassed all that gold, one of the biggest things that they created was idol worship. So all those idols, in order for the gold to be reused in this world,
we were selling stuff to them.
Who?
First, we were selling. No.
What are you talking about?
First, the Jews got a lot of the gold, right? Before they left.
Okay.
They were buying water from us. They were buying.
Right. So that gold, they didn't know there was a sur.
Once it comes into the possession of a Jew.
No, it was an idol. It was a goat. How did he pay? How did the Egyptian pay with for the water? With that gold of idols. And then when Moshe Rabbeinu, you'll see over there that Moshe Rabbeinu grinded out a lot of gold that was idol worship. It brought down.
I thought there was something about once it comes into the possession of a
Jew doesn't mean anything. If it's idol, it's clearly Yisud Doraita to use anything that was used for idol worship. It's asur. You have no asur to be ana'ah.
You can't melt it or grind it?
No, you can't have any pleasure from it. It must be only done one thing. As you see by, what's his name? What does it say over there by Egel? They made an Egel.
Okay, so what do we do with that gold?
Good, so take a look over there. It says over there, the Pasuk says, Moshe Rabbeinu grinded it and made them drink like sotah. The Gemara explains, what does sotah happen? Sotah, you take dirt and you mix it with water and let her drink, right? The dirt from the Beit Mikdash. So Moshe Rabbeinu, those idol worshippers who were Isur, who were very Isur, he didn't know, there were a lot of Jews who didn't have testimony, they didn't have a warning that they're prohibited to do.
Now also makes more sense. Why they did the Chet Egel?
Why? I don't know why. That's not our discussion.
Right, because we had the gold from the Avodah Zarah.
That's Moshe Rabbeinu. Okay. Oh, that could be the influence. Yes. You're saying a beautiful thing. Here, Eliyahu, Moshe, you hear what he's saying? He's saying that what was the influence? We'll get there. That's the next parasha. It's a beautiful point, Reb Zohar. The reason.
No, just
what influenced them to do Egel could be that they had a lot of gold of Tumah in their possessions of Avodah Zarah that caused them, as we know, that again we were discussing that Jewish religion is not a religion, knowledge in a religion. It's about living what you know, right? And everything has influence. The Isur Deoraita to have any pleasure from an idol, gold that was used for an idol, for that purpose. The purpose is it will, even though you're going to create a beautiful Keter Torah.
So that means the Jewish women did not have the gold from the Avodah Zarah.
That's right. That could be, yeah.
I'm saying.
Beautiful. Yes. Very nice. Nice. Oh, so that's what actually, let's just finish up over here. In the Musar, we'll go to Halachot Shabbat. But the point is over here that, like, let's end with that. Sorry. He's saying a beautiful thing. He's saying a beautiful thing. The thing is that we are commanded. Today somebody took money from theft. He cheated somebody. And he, Baruch Hashem, made 15, 20 million, 100 million, 200 million, whatever it is, right? So he takes the maaser, he takes 10% of that. He thinks he's a tzaddik. You know what, Rabbi, I'm not going to give that maaser. I'm going to give 20%. Yeah, Rabbi, you know what? Forget about it. I'll give 50%. And I'm going to buy, you know what I'm going to buy? Rahman al-Islam. I'm going to buy a crown for the Sefer Torah. I'm going to buy a Sefer Torah. I'm going to donate 20 Sefer Torah in 20 different shuls. So you might think he's a holy person. Wow, a tzaddik. But that Sefer Torah is bought with non-kosher money. Those Sefer Torah will have bad influence on the community. Everything has to be checked. When I used to run a big program for the children, Baruch Hashem, maybe there was not kosher money in the end because we shut down, but I was very meticulous to check where's the money coming from. And maybe and sometimes when I get a large donation, I would get even more scared. Where is this money from? Where? I would do a lot of investigation, but not thorough enough, looks like. You have to be very cautious. If davar shebekdusha, listen to this kedusha. You ready? The project I'm running. I was running a project in Lakewood, 253 kids finishing Tehillim every day. That's 253 Sefer Tehillim. In 7 months, they did accomplish over 43,000 Tehillims. And obviously, it cost me a lot of money. I was bribing the kids with chocolates every Friday, with ice cream, balagan, with raffles, cash, and everything. It costs a lot of money. So where's the money coming from? It has to be very meticulous. If you want things to last, let's finish with that. If you want things to last, you have to be very, very meticulous where the money is coming from and not to have any machloket. And I don't want to say a name, just came up to me. There's a big fight in Eretz Yisrael on the big yeshiva. Big yeshiva. I'm talking about, and there's fights. Who's going to be in charge and control? I will not be surprised if that's the reason. Baruch Adonai Olam Amen. Those that did make parnasah, who cannot remain with us learning halachot, or those who could remain with us, or whoever has to go, wherever it is, gentlemen, we're going to start learning halachot Shabbat now. You should be blessed with a lot of siyata d'shmaya, with a lot of Hashem's help, with all that you do without any problems, make a lot of money without any tzarot, without any problems, and only good help and happiness. Okay, let's do halachot Shabbat.